is on 3. 1, 2, 3, Melissa!
Good morning, everyone. It's a great day in Salinas.
Yes.
Right? I want to take a brief moment. My name is Kimberly Craig. I'm honored to be the mayor here in our wonderful city of Salinas. And I want to take a minute just to thank some of the people that have also joined us, some dignitaries. First and foremost, we have Councilmember Gonzalez, who is part of the Melissa Zavala fan club. Councilmember Anthony Rocha, thank you for joining us. I have City Manager Steve Kerrigan with us. I have both Police Chief Roberto Felice and Fire Chief Sam Clement joining us.
All right.
We have Representative from Supervisor Wendy Root Escu's office, Eric Mora, is also joining us. Well, she plays a dual role, but she's holding up her Senate representation. Mayor of Soledad, Ana Velasquez, and field representative to Senator Ana Caballero, Ana Velasquez.
Yes.
We all have side hustles, and mine's the mayor of Salinas, hers is the mayor of Soledad. So I just want to take a brief moment to say it's a great day here. We are so incredibly proud of our young people here in Salinas, and Melissa Zavala is an excellent example of the people who represent our wonderful community. I just want to give her a big round of applause. We recognize that field work is the backbone of our community, and certainly when we have legislation that comes forward to acknowledge and represent our field workers who are seen and heard and listened to, it is a great day. So I just want to take a moment and say thank you all for being here. I love having council chambers full. We do have city council meetings on Tuesday. You are welcome to join. So, but with that, I want to take a moment and first and foremost acknowledge the strong representation we have at the federal level with our Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren. You may know, we had redistricting occur, and we had our former Congress member Jimmy Panetta representing the Salinas Valley. Zoe has been remarkable in terms of her visibility with agriculture and particularly the farm workers of our community, and I think today represents her strong advocacy for our community. With that, please welcome Congressmember Zoe Lofgren.
Yeah.
Very much, Mayor, and thanks to everyone who's here. I'm also pleased that we're joined today by Superintendent Dan Burns of the Salinas Unified High School, Union High School District, and Jesus Estrada, a former farm worker and community organizer. And perhaps most importantly of all, we're joined by Melissa Zavala, who without her advocacy would not be here today. Now, just over 2 months ago, I was lucky to have a meeting in my Washington, D.C. office with wonderful young people, high school students from Salinas, who were there on a program named after Mikva, who was a leader in our country, both in the House of Representatives as a judge, and also he worked in the White House, and the idea was that young people would come and advocate for things that were important to them in their community. Now, these students were well prepared. They had suggestions for things that I could do and should do. They were all very smart. Some of the things were not possible to do in a single stroke, but some were. And one of the things that I thought we could do right away was the resolution that Melissa suggested. Now, I've known long that farm work is hard and dangerous, but also vital to our economy. When California got lashed by torrential rains earlier this year, farm workers were out there working to protect the crops. When it's blazing hot, many of us are hunkering down in our air-conditioned rooms. The farm workers are out in the field. And during the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, farm workers were declared essential workers. And because of them, this country always had food despite the epidemic. Now, Melissa, who knows about farm workers, whose family includes farm workers, said we need to have an official week to recognize and praise the farm workers who do so much for our country. And while some federal agencies had previously recognized the Awareness Week, neither chamber of Congress had ever formally recognized it. So I told Melissa then and there that we should introduce that resolution. Since that time, Melissa helped write this resolution because it wasn't just her idea, it was also her intelligence in helping to draft it. Our resolution supports the designation of the last week of March as National Farmworker Awareness Week, and it recognizes the challenging working conditions farm workers face and their significant contributions to our society. As Melissa told me back in May, establishing an official Farmworker Awareness Week will help educate future generations about the contributions of farm workers to our food supply and our communities. Now, I am pleased to ask Melissa to come forward, please. Before you speak, I have a copy of the resolution that has been introduced in the House of Representatives that you helped write. I'd like to give it to you. It's ceremonial. And Melissa, I'd like to thank you for your intelligence, for your leadership, for your commitment to democracy. You make your community proud and your country proud as well. Please say a few words.
Good afternoon. My name is Melissa Zavala. This project was started in my Arabic class, introduced by my Arabic teacher, and she told us to write about something that we are passionate about, that we think we should change in our communities. And for me, something that I know my community is based on is agriculture. And throughout my speech, I talked about all my personal experiences, everything that I saw my parents go through as field workers, and how I think that they should have more credit, more respect as the farm workers and the crucial jobs that they have. I also talked about how they need more representation in schools, being acknowledged as careers rather than just general labor, as most call it. And thankfully, my voice was heard, and I got chosen to go to Washington, D.C. as one of 13 finalists from our entire country, and I was very honored to have that opportunity given to me. I said my speech in Washington, D.C., and I was also invited to Mikva Challenge's National Youth Summit, where 100 other students also were invited to talk about issues that they were passionate about as well. Through that opportunity, my group and I got to meet a representative and sit down with her in her office. As we sat down with her, I mentioned to her the key points I talked about in my speech and how I think it would be a great idea to give our farm workers a week of representation and appreciation because they were the essential workers of COVID-19. Everyone else got laid off while all of our first aid workers and our field workers were still taken to their jobs. And I think that that was a key point into how this project came to be, and I am very proud that I was able to do that in such a short trip. As well, it is really important often because, as you can see, I'm only 16 and I'm here speaking to you guys on a very important matter. So, taking into consideration what our youth does and what our youth advocates for and what our youth thinks should happen, I think is really important to really listen to, because we can possibly make that change that we are all wishing to have. And yeah, thank you.
I love how she says I'm only 16. I was planning the homecoming parade when I was 16. Like, policy was not even a glimmer in my eye at that point. So in 2 years, girl, register to vote, and 2, run for office. With that, I do want to take a minute. We have a couple more speakers. Dan Burns is here from the Salinas Union High School District. He's a superintendent and part of Alisal High School. So welcome, Dan Burns.
Yeah. What can I say that would be more inspirational than what Melissa already said, right? So just wanted to say to you, Melissa, from Salinas to the House of Representatives floor. Can I write your book? No, really, it's coming soon. So I'd be remiss as well to not recognize the staff at Alisal High School and stand up and recognize. Some people ask me, what is the value in teaching? And this is the value. We don't have a lot of extrinsic rewards in teaching, but this is the type of reward you get on a consistent basis when a young person lights your light bulb and inspires you to do things differently as well. And you're lighting light bulbs for a lot of people, Melissa. Also wanted to recognize the fact that the state of California several years ago moved forward with recognizing and putting a seal of civic engagement on the diploma of students who engage in civic learning and do things in their community beyond just any requirements to earn a diploma. And that significance is when Melissa and other students go off to college with that seal, it's a representation that they are going above and beyond just academics to support their community and be a civically engaged young person. And what better way to be civically engaged than to have somebody like Melissa be able to see a gap in our community and a simple thing of recognizing the work that our community does to feed the world. And what an amazing vision that she's had for doing that. I appreciate Congresswoman Lofgren for making that happen as well, because it takes others to support you along that mission. And so, again, congratulations on that. Just so that you all know, the Mikva Challenge is a component of our school district as well, where students get to write and debate and look at challenges or solutions to problems, and then they present them. And this year, they invited the superintendent to come out and listen to their different ideas. And there were things like the food needs to be better, we need air conditioners, the HVAC system shouldn't come on and be loud, things like that. But Melissa had something that was a lot more in depth. And so, and the nice component of this is the last week of March also coincides with recognizing Cesar Chavez's birthday as well. So, hand in hand, we're representing from Salinas all the way to DC, and thank you again, Congresswoman, for your leadership. Thank you, Mayor, for putting this press conference together as well. And with that, I will step aside and I'll bring up. Okay, just making sure I'm not overstepping. I'm the superintendent, so sometimes that happens. Let me bring up Jesus Estrada, community organizer for the Center of Community Action. Thank you.
gracias a todos y gracias a los concejales y a la mayor por esta resolución. Yo vengo, ¿cómo puedo decir?, de una comunidad indígena muy lejana, México. Y llegué aquí en Estados Unidos como todos, vivimos de una manera diferente. Trabajé por 14 años en el campo. De todos los trabajos, nomás hay un solo trabajo que no me gustó. No sé si hay otro trabajo más pesado. El único más pesado que se me hizo a mí fue cargar 1000 pinos en la espalda y plantar pinos en los montes. Subir en los cerros, plantarlo en línea, y no hay otra manera como. Y mal pagado, por $25 por una bolsa de 1000 pinos. Ese trabajo fue muy pesado, que el único que no me gustó de todos los demás trabajos. Esto estoy hablando del estado de Tennessee y Alabama. Allá anduve plantando pinos por temporada. Entonces creo que para los trabajadores del campo es muy importante darle reconocimiento que fueron los trabajadores esenciales durante la pandemia, son los que se levantaron desde las 4 de la mañana, 5 de la mañana para ir al trabajo y regresar a la misma hora, 5 de la tarde o 6 de la tarde, y otra vez seguir trabajando. Por eso es muy importante reconocer a los trabajadores que son tan importantísimos a lo que es el área de agricultura, y también hay mucho que hacer todavía por ellos. Por ejemplo, todo el mundo sabemos que hay escasez de vivienda. ¿Qué estamos haciendo o qué vamos a hacer por esa área? Entonces es muy importante otra vez reconocerlos. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? Yo trabajé hace 14 años y sigo trabajando con la comunidad como organizador, como CCA aquí en Salinas. Por eso sigo involucrándome con la comunidad campesina y bajo ingresos. Entonces es un honor estar aquí con ustedes, y creo que entre todos podemos trabajar cómo mejorar la condición de los trabajadores del campo, más leyes para proteger sus derechos, más cuidado, más inspeccionar que haya agua, que haya baños, que haya todas las profesiones que se ocupan nuestros trabajadores del campo. Es todo lo que puedo decir, y muchísimas gracias.
Gracias, Jesus. With that, I do want to just go ahead and conclude this press conference with an acknowledgement from the City of Salinas. Melissa, if I could have you come on up. Whereas Melissa Zavala was a participant in the 2022-2023 SEAL of Civic Engagement Program through the Salinas Union High School District. And whereas Ms. Zavala sought to bring awareness to the challenges farmworkers face as essential workers that serve our community, but also serve communities across the country. And whereas Ms. Zavala not only shared her personal story as a daughter of farmworkers and her research with the Salinas community, but took her advocacy to Washington, D.C. to bring awareness on a national level to the challenges and hardships farm workers face. And whereas Ms. Zavala has stepped up to be a leader within her Alisal High School community and for the City of Salinas. Whereas Ms. Zavala is an inspiration to other young individuals to be civically engaged. Now therefore, I, Mayor Kinley Craig, on behalf of the City of Salinas, hereby thank Melissa Zavala for bringing national awareness for our hardworking farm workers and for being a leader and an inspiration within the City of Salinas community. I do want to conclude have a voice in our community, and they can implement change. Thank you. Yeah, get mom and dad.
One, two, three. One more. 1, 2, 3.
Can I get you guys to work this? 1, 2.
You're right, democracy is a verb.
Ready? 1, 2, and. All right. So thank you so much.
Viva Salinas. Melissa Zavala came to one of the students and said, if farm workers really feed the nation, they work under hard conditions, and we need to show farm workers in America that they are appreciated. And a way to do that is to have a Farm Worker Appreciation Week. I thought that was a good idea, and I reached out to Melissa. She helped us write the resolution, and it's now been introduced into the House of Representatives.
Yeah, you mentioned that the students were like asking for farm workers. What kind of things?
Well, one of the things that the listeners asked is if we could legalize undocumented farm workers. I have a bill to do that, but the Republicans are blocking it in the House. So even though I've introduced the bill, I can't get it enacted right now. But I can introduce this bill, and whether or not it's enacted, farm workers across the nation.
So you think they deserve to be working legally here in the United States? And then after all the pandemic, they were essential workers?
Absolutely. The bill that I introduced allows people who are here without their papers to gain legal status, and also improves the temporary program so workers are protected. And we have bipartisan support in the House. It's passed the House several times. The Senate has never had it, so we're trying again this year. But meanwhile, the farm workers of the country ought to know that they're appreciated.
Yeah, so this awareness week might be the first step to have a better condition for all farmers.
I would hope so, and certainly we're advocating that farm workers get more protections than they have. This heat that is happening across the country is, workers are out there, they need protection. And over time, there have been improvements in working conditions, but we're not there yet.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let me join in this. Can you take this over here?
Got it.
Very good. Can I grab this? All right. Yes.
¿Me recuerdas su nombre, por favor?
Mikva Zavala.
Ok, ¿y usted es Alisal Zavala? Ok. Bueno, primero que nada, cuéntame cómo se siente después de que se haya nombrado esta semana para los trabajadores.
Bueno, sentimos muy felices. La edad que tiene Melissa de 16 años, pensamos que es un logro que ha hecho un paso muy adelante, es escuchada y reconocida, y
ustedes son trabajadores del campo. ¿Qué significa esto para ustedes?
Nos da gusto de los pasos de todos los trabajadores del campo. Y es una cosa que
Claro. ¿Qué significa para un trabajador del campo?
It's not something that I expected to happen, but yeah, like I'm proud that I also was able to accomplish this because I'm representing my community and I'm making that change in my community that I know has to happen.
Definitely. Making your community proud.
Yes,
That's for sure.
most important of all,
Yes.
making my community proud.
Congresswoman, what do you make of all of this? This is powerful to see someone from your community that you represent bringing this to light. What do you make of it and how do you feel?
Well, there were wonderful students that came to visit me from high schools in Salinas. They were well versed in issues, they had studied them, and Melissa was the one who suggested that we should have a resolution a week honoring farm workers, the tremendous service they do for this country, recognizing the hardships that they encounter. I thought it was a good idea. And so, with Melissa's help, she helped write this resolution. I've introduced it now for the last week in March to the week honoring the farmers. I think Melissa and her other students were impressive, but I know that Melissa is proud of herself. Her parents are proud of her. The community is proud of her. And I'll tell you, the young people of Salinas are fabulous. So I'm proud to represent Melissa, her parents, and all of the students who came to visit.
And this is a long time coming to have this, and it's important, someone from the youth is stepping up and taking that next step. Why is it so important that the youth get involved in civic engagement? And this is just one example of that.
Well, the future is theirs. And, if they can help shape what that future will be, it'll be brighter. And Melissa and her fellow students are forward-thinking, they're smart, they're taking time to be well-educated, and I'm very proud of them.
Melissa, with your family and your experiences that you've seen, more work still needs to be done. What's next for you? What is something next you'd like to tackle? What do you think is still important that, this is one resolution, but there's still so much more that needs to be done, especially with farm workers?
Yeah, I think giving them their appreciation and their recognition is like the bare minimum. I'm not gonna be completely honest. I think what I would like to bring to light more is giving them more resources, like education-wise, because a lot of farm workers come from Mexico, and they didn't have that education in their childhood, and they've been working their whole childhood and everything. So I think giving them that opportunity to have education given to them is going to help them also feel more accomplished, be more accomplished with themselves, and as well it's going to open them to newer opportunities in having more jobs, more careers open to them as well, rather than just being stuck to being farm workers and being looked down upon.
Thank the both of you
Thank
for
you
your
very
time.
much.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to see you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ok. Melissa, bueno, primero que nada, platícanos cómo te sientes de que hoy finalmente se nombra el reconocimiento de una Semana Nacional para los trabajadores del campo.
Para mí, la manera para explicarlo creo que sería como un sueño hecho realidad. Yo cuando me senté en mi salón a escribir este discurso no fue para decir que yo sabía que esto iba a pasar, que iba a cumplir todo lo que pude cumplir en poco tiempo, pero estoy muy orgullosa que a la gente sí les gustó lo que yo opino sobre los trabajadores de campo y todo lo que ellos se merecen en sus vidas. Y estoy muy orgullosa de que ya por fin puedo decir que yo trabajé en esto a tan corta edad que tengo. Y estoy muy feliz de lo que pude hacer.
Claro, ¿cómo fue tu experiencia de ir a Washington, platicar con la congresista, con otros congresistas? ¿Cómo viviste esa experiencia?
Para mí, como lo dije, no fue algo que yo me esperaba. También tuve la oportunidad de viajar con 5 otros compañeros de aquí de Salinas, con mi mamá y con mis maestras, y fue una experiencia completamente realmente nuevo para mí y poder sentarme en la oficina de Zoe Lofgren, ella misma, y hablarle sobre los temas que nosotros pensamos que son importantes, fue como muy emocionante para mí. Yo nunca me esperaba sentarme ahí en su oficina y hablar con ella, y mucho menos que le gustara mi idea.
Claro, ¿por qué crees que es muy importante que se reconozca a los trabajadores del campo?
Mis papás trabajan en el field y yo he escuchado las pláticas que dicen que una persona se desmayó, se las llevó la ambulancia, todos los riesgos que ellos toman. Mi mamá tiene alergias de los pesticidas y todo eso. Yo miro todo lo que ellos batallan trabajando en el field y todo lo que ellos sufren. Y al escribir este discurso yo quería, se lo hice en honor a mis papás para decirles que su trabajo sí es valorado, que no es algo que ellos tienen que estar avergonzados y que es algo que yo siempre voy a valorar, y también pues, por eso me inspiré mucho a escribir este discurso.
Oye, durante la pandemia, durante el calor, ahí están ellos, ¿no? Siempre trabajando, al igual que tus papás, muchos trabajadores agrícolas. ¿Qué piensas de ese valor que siempre ponen ellos en cualquier momento?
Eso creo que dicen nomás los trabajadores, que son los trabajadores del field como comunidad de ellos mismos. Ellos hacen lo que puedan para sacar a sus familias adelante, sea tener que ponerse a riesgo todo y las condiciones que sean. Y con eso dice mucho de ellos, cómo valoran su familia y al igual cómo valoran sus comunidades.
Ahora te voy a hacer las preguntas en inglés, ¿sí? Ok, para que hayan. Primero, how do you feel about this National Awareness Week that it's going to be for farm workers?
I feel very proud of the job that I've completed. It's a very surreal moment, as I never expected it to happen, and now that it is in the works and it is in progress, I feel like only positive outcomes can come from this.
How was the process? How do you participate in all this, and how did you came to this result?
So it all started in my Avid class. My teacher mentioned what Project Soapbox was. She said we had to write about topics that we are passionate about in our community. I wrote about our farm workers, and step after step, they got chosen to go to nationals. From nationals, I got chosen into the National Youth Summit, and from the Youth Summit was when we got to meet Ms. Lofgren herself, and then that is when I proposed my idea to her, and it happened.
Great. Why do you think it's important to have this awareness about the farm workers?
It's important because they are the backbone of our community in Salinas. They are majority of our city is field workers and the job itself, and they don't get the credit they receive. They don't get the credit they receive, and I think it's important that we show others how important it is of the job that they have.
Yeah. So Congresswoman was telling me about this bill to legalize all farm workers. What do you think about this? Do you think they deserve that and to be here in the United States working without any fear?
They deserve that and so much more. They do so much for us. They make sure that we have fresh fruits and vegetables on our tables every single day. They get up early in the mornings and work late nights. They do the absolute best for our community. So I think that just giving them a week of appreciation and giving them a week of recognition is the bare minimum we could do for them as a country.
Exactly. Any other thing you want to say about farm workers to the community, so people also recognize farm workers, not just because of this week, but all year, like recognize their hard work.
Yeah, I think recognizing them all the time, even sometimes saying a simple thank you to them would go a long way for them, because a lot of our farm workers are very ashamed of the job that they have because people don't think of it as a job worth having. So a simple thank you could go a long way for them in being able to value their job themselves.
Okay, thank you, Melissa. Appreciate it.
Gracias.
Felicidades. Buen trabajo.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
What's your reaction to this? And how has it been to get to this point?
It's been incredible. I'm like crying right now. We took a group of students to DC, and seeing how articulate and how it's amazing working with the youth, and
I think this whole experience, and we did it last year as our first year doing the soapbox speech, and this year we actually got that component of going to Washington D.C. And I think the thing for us that was really impactful is knowing that hope is not lost, that our youth are caring about the exact same issues that we care about as adults. A lot of them were advocating for affordable housing, we're advocating for funding, we're advocating for choice, and we're advocating, like Melissa, just acknowledging some of the sometimes underappreciated population in our society. And she had her family as a focus for that. And it was really awesome because this experience helped the students bring their lives, their experience, as a form of evidence for why things need to change. And it was really impactful for us to see them have that voice on a national level. The Mikva challenge, set up this youth summit, and there was 100 students from across the country, and they were all talking and advocating to all their senators, to their congressmen about all the issues that they felt were important, that they wanted fixed for their future. So that was really inspiring, and it was great. And I think personally it was great to see our students shine. Melissa is a fabulous person. She always says she's so quiet. She was very shy, so she was stepping out of her comfort zone. But it allows other people outside of Salinas to see what we see every day, which are these amazing people who can contribute a lot if given the opportunity.
Yeah, there's a lot of power in your voice, and I think sometimes as adults we might forget that. I see our role as teachers is more as facilitators, and if we just kind of give them the structure and step out of their way, they have the ideas, they have the knowledge. We just maybe need to show how to use their voice a little bit more, but there's so much power in youth voice, and so as adults we need to step back and let them shine.
And, we saw Harry last year, and Melissa and all the students this year. So I'm assuming this program is going to continue. So it's through, make sure I have this correct, it's through the AVID class. Is that correct? Or can you guys explain to me how this works and the different, what Melissa went through to get to this point?
It's through our school district. They have this program to try to encourage students to get the seal of civic engagement from the state of California. So just on our end, we wanted to get our kids involved, not just to get that seal, but to be invested in their community, to help with college applications. So just as the AVID teachers, we kind of took that on. Just at the time, other people at the site were not able to do that. So we partnered with Mikva, who is the partner for our district. So we did that, but through Harry's success last year, through our success this year, there's other people on our campus who want to get involved. So now our English department wants to do this project with their students. Our ethnic studies department wants to get involved. So it's not necessarily just AVID, we kind of just started it. And we're really excited that it spreads, and hopefully we can get more youth, because unfortunately our program only has a certain number of students that are in it. And so this way, if we can get more youth involved, then we might have more great legislation and other things happening to help our whole country.
Thank you both so much. Felicidades, congratulations.
Muchas gracias.
Como se dice, inspiración, es muy inspiración muy buena para la comunidad.
Sí.
Deben de ser muy orgullosos.
Sí, estamos muy contentos, muy felices por él. Sí.
¿Cuáles sus nombres?
Carlos Zavala.
Irma Zavala.
Y yo sé so, ¿cómo se sienten hoy? ¿Qué es su reacción de este evento muy bonito hoy?
Pues nos sentimos muy felices y muy orgullosos porque pues tiene una corta edad y pienso que este paso fue un paso muy grande que ella dio y es un camino a empezar.
Pues sí, así como dice la esposa, está muy chiquita todavía para lo que está queriendo lograr ella. Esperamos que se logre y pues que siga adelante con sus cosas, con sus metas.
Es algo muy cerca de su familia y es en la comunidad y es algo ahorita nacional que está haciendo. ¿Y cómo se sienten de eso y que es algo más grande de solo aquí en Salinas, es algo nacional?
Pues muy felices porque se hizo escuchar ella se escuchó con su discurso que dio y tuvo muy buenos reconocimientos y sí, salió de la comunidad y está pegando ahorita para todos, no solamente para Salinas. Y es un paso que la apoyaron mucho y pienso que es un tema muy importante, por eso es que ella está dando este paso ahorita.
Sí. Y Melissa, usted habló en su speech de sus padres, de su comunidad, y ¿por qué esta causa era tan importante para usted para hablar? ¿Era como muy fácil decir que eso es necesario, esta idea, o por qué es importante a usted?
Pues como mis papás trabajan en el field, yo escucho las pláticas que ellos tienen de trabajo que hacen, todo lo que les pasa a ellos mismos y con los que trabajan. Entonces cuando me tocó escribir sobre mi tema, a mí se me vino muy fácil escribir sobre los problemas que ellos tienen y qué resoluciones podemos tener a ese problema.
Y es como usted tiene que ser la advocate para sus padres, es la generación que viene y es su turno para hablar y usar su voz, ¿sí?
Sí, como yo escribí esto como en una forma de decirle gracias a mis papás para asegurarles que pueden valorar el trabajo que tienen y que es una cosa de estar orgulloso. Yo como su hija de ellos sé todo lo que han hecho por mí teniendo ese trabajo y estoy orgullosa de que ellos son mis papás y quiero que la otra gente también los reconozca como tal.
Gracias a usted.